Okay, this is a sequel video, and this video is going to spark some sparkles. I'm gonna say it. Just as finishing recording the video, on my algorithm there was a video of a nice lady. She's completely monogamous, and she said how to protect your feminine energy from being harvested. First of all, I want to say that the act of using tantric sex or using kundalini energy or sexual energy to gain power or to gain something of what the other person has, without necessarily I don't know, just use it, just abusing that, okay, or depleting the other person in the process. That's the thing, because we always exchange ideas and energy and whatnot and pleasure and whatnot. But the thing is, she was talking about the feminine. But I want to say, first of all, that thing is not about men harvesting from women, but it's all across the board. And I talked about that when I talked about the cult. But I also want to talk about something that people might not be aware of. So, as I was doing synastries, and I was taking a look at synastries, I was taking a look at the combination of Jupiter and Pluto. And they addressed a lot the fact about Jupiter, which is seed, semen, and Pluto, which is transforming. And for some godforsaken reason, there was a lot to do with the karmic effect of sleeping with one another. How to tackle that without, it kind of feels like the cervical orgasm episode, because people had been used to hearing that with be monogamous, and there is completely not necessarily monogamous person just says something about this. And I want to say that because, first of all, it happens in energy as well. Okay, I'm witness. And secondly, what I'm about to say is not the conclusion is not change your commitment style. Okay? It's simply put, it is true that when people sleep with one another and one intends to harvest energy or to gain power and control by sleeping with more women or sleeping with men, okay, then that is something that occurs, is something that I guess the cult teaches or something. I don't know, because they do Kundalini differently. just to put it that way. They do an inversion of Kundalini energy. But the thing is that as we grow and curate, it means that we grow and curate the karmas associated with our karmas. That can be exposure sometimes, okay? So I saw it around channeling. So while channeling is not like going and having sex with someone, mediumship is tending to something. And then, let's say if I received something, in the sense, let's talk about Richard Feynman, okay? If I received a lot of information, there's a composite that was guiding me in the academia, and it's still, even when I walked to academia and I spoke for the other day about, experiments that they made. And again, I brought Feynman because I wanted to approach them in a way that sounds, a witness rather than, oh, it's conspiracy theories. No, I know this from Feynman. When it comes to medical welfare, then I would be exposed also to the fact that his intimate communication with women was called affected, and that he ran into programmed women. So he thought that this is how you sleep with them, but then he would lose respect for them. And I would address this because those things would later be taught as seduction techniques for both men and women. Okay? And so imagine writing to Peter. And Peter was kind of like, I don't want to say my guardian is a too elated and romantic word, but it's kind of, I mediumed that when I was in Netherlands, homeless, and it was like way more of a situation. I don't know how it works for other channelers, but that was not just a mediumship, it was an encounter. And I can tell we have another person my age who's doing a Vedic astrology, Indian astrology, that's Carpil, and he was doing a Marilyn Monroe chart. And the first time he tried, he was doing it for entertainment, everything broke down, and then he took it very seriously, and he did the version. And it was almost like if Marilyn was like, cut the crap, do it like that. A lot of my nudging to do water expensive on cool, like 10 cold cases already was coming from there, okay? But it also was desire that I will just live my life and so on. And so I was like, no, it doesn't work. I need to tend to that. So now going from mediumship to astral engagement or sexual engagement, it means that as you curate yourself, your karmas and dharmas are entangled. And I want to say karmas and dharmas. What is karma and what is dharma? Karma is the accumulation of your action. People who believe in past life maybe also believe in that. And that is the accumulation of your actions. Okay? That affects something. Okay? If I do a video and I do an episode about, let's say Feynman, he was so and he was so and he was so. Some of the women that maybe were programmed and later survived certain encounters for him, and I'm saying survived, might be listening to that. And that is karmas entangled, okay? So imagine Peter, okay? And then there are dharmas. And so for Richard Feynman, dharma he was exposing the use of fluoride on our teeth. He didn't say fluoride, but he talks about brushing our teeth and what's in there. And one of the way I continue that dharma is that I talk about denucleafication, because that fluoride came from there. They weren't using it from the bomb, and then they were using it for our teeth, the Industrial Revolution, and so on. Okay, I think with Peter, karma and dharma is very evident. I don't need. Okay. But even when I think about how the assassination of Yitzhak Rabin affected me. So Yitzhak Rabin had a wifey that had account in Switzerland, and he resigned for that. Okay, I did not have account in Switzerland. But Switzerland would later expose who had account in Switzerland. So, but another thing is that I did not go anywhere near politics for decades after the assassination. And even when I was studying politics, it was like about like traveling, like international relations. I wasn't thinking much. And my thesis proposal would be in the Department of Politics and Governance. And there was a gigantic trauma and a gigantic despair. And one of the dharmas is that I would tend to Peter's assassination, that had tended to JFK's assassination. It would be a CIA agent that exposes things, and I would learn how Peter with Delano, but also how Rabin was assassinated and how it's connected to mkultra. So this is how the karma and dharma, okay, it's affected event. I wasn't sleeping with the guy, it's just a prime minister back then, but there was something tremendously affected my life and life choices, and the part of the dharma is tending to mkultra. So you want to think about also in sensuality or sexual relations. My psychologist had astral encounters with me that I was not okay with in the beginning. So a part of that karma is that I began to learn about what his kink was, or what and then I learned about BDSM and all these things that I'm totally vanilla, but okay, what does one encounter, what fantasy means for him versus what it means for me. And so that was what I considered the healthy part. Not supposed to be with your therapist, but hey, it happened. But then the part of the karma, So that was a part of the dharma, perhaps. And the part of the karma was that this is a person who decides which children are taken from their parents and which not. And we all know where these children go. And he treats those children in the emergency centers. And he himself was tortured. I see, because I can tell for when his personalities change. mkultra again. So that was one way in which that karma and dharma, okay, we connected. And then you had very hard time letting go of me because the energies are connected, and a part of him would try to curate me and a part of him would try to control me. Okay? There's the karma and dharma. Okay? I don't know if that Ido guy tried to get into my sexual energy or not, but the thing is, if he did, that would mean tremendous karma and dharma, because he was trying to set me up to assassinate Peter. And when Peter died, the amount of Christmas in my channelings. So you see that that's a lot of karma that I have to tend to not to assassinate and to curate that. And the dharma, again, you cannot prevent a political assassination without the mkultra, because it's not me. You're going to take somebody, they're going to torture them, they're going to put them in betrayal situations, and voila. And of course, all these people, they use them as double agents as well. So this is how I want to address this as, I said what I said. When we want to curate karma, okay, first of all, having any encounters, it can also be indirectly, as you saw, that creates a karma and dharma. And that means now I have to tend to that karma, okay? That either guy was trying to assassinate this, assassinate that, do war crimes, do this, do that. Okay, we used as a double agent. I had to tend to that karma. Okay, it's like I can't be, if you harvested on my energy to do that, I have to correct that. Okay? I have to expose that. I have to correct my energy. I just defended my own energy from sexual assault, exposed the fact that he was putting that freezer thing. But oh my God, I need to talk to Austin about this. There was this freezer magic, and then there was a defreeze, and either was putting his name. I got an intuition, so I thought the intuition will put his name as well. I didn't know why. I just thought I'm listening to my intuition and told that. And then as I was cleaning up the place where I was leaving, then of course you have a defreeze. So he tied his name and me, my energy, and the defreeze. And it's a defreeze. It's not Peter defreeze, it's defreeze. And that created the karma and the dharma around these things. So what did he want to harvest, or what did he... And again, you also you both have the part of like, hey, I would like to see that person with that person, or I'd like to meet that person and meet that person. I think all the way back to the original Korvanaut, like I wouldn't know. I think it was too young then, but that's a setup, you know. Obviously there was work done. I didn't read the book yet. I need to read the book for Royce, but it's a setup, because a lot of work done on one person and a lot of work done on another person to get to that encounter, and then they harvest on that encounter. Okay, but it's a movie industry, film industry, but it's also espionage and other things. And where was that plane flying? I said what I said. Okay, so anyway, people. Okay, Peter and Korvanaut was flying in a plane. Korvanaut was a person he sent to jail, and nobody wanted that plane to land anywhere. I don't know where was the safety spot eventually, but But that's the meaning of karma and dharma. So when going back to the romantic level,
That's what you said?
yes, one of the ways to tend to that is to retrieve your energy. As you're retrieving your energy, the karma and dharma. So let's say a man harvested your energy to be. Now, if a man harvests your energy to be more successful, a free man is not oppressed another. You will get dividends. And I'm not talking about finances. I'm talking about, let's say, I don't know. You would get energy. You feel contained, or you would get energy support. Okay. Or anything of that sort, okay? Because if they're truly successful, you're not going to be suffering from that. I said what I said. But the thing is that when a woman or a man do that, and they do something not so benefic with that, okay? Whether it's by mkultra or by programming or by that, I had a channeling experiment for 6 months when Saturn was in Aquarius. Yes, now I'm correcting a lot of the things. I'm going sifting and sorting the things. It's like, hey, what went on there? Shit, fuck, tone of mkultra. So now I'm decodifying the dumb fuckery, okay? Because I never consented to that. But it's also, it's not just consented, not consented. It's about, hey, what were the things that were happening? And connecting that and correcting that, okay? They wanted me to stay there on Christmas. I don't know, and this Christmas I also tried. But I'm going, taking back my energy. And so what I'm defending my own energy, more and more insights come to the forefront, and this is the karma and the dharma. So you see, when somebody was trying to harvest on your energy to do something not so well, you retrieve that energy and you discover what was it that they were trying to do, okay? Where were they trying to take that? Now, if they were trying to take that to a lovely place, you're going to be benefiting from that. Because a free man is not a person. On energy level, think about it. Your man is successful, you're successful, you're happy. If he's successful, then he's radiant and he's shining, and his radiance and shine bring in the shine in you, and you grow together. But if he's doing something not okay, you feel depleted. I said what I said. This is why I tend to the double agent's dumb fuckery, because it's the dumb fuckery. Affects all of our intimate lives. Same with the woman, okay? If she's doing something good with that energy, you're going to see her prosperous, you're going to see her shining, and she's going to fend for you. Okay? She's going to fend for you. So you're not. It's not going to be like a succubus. It's going to be more like she's going to glow, and you're going to enjoy her glow, and then you're going to glow, and that's how it works, right? And that can work on both monogamy and non-monogamy. Okay, it's not about commitment style. And this is why when something in the ecosystem is, then everybody has to tend to that. And this is the power in numbers we have with tending to MK Ultra and all the double agent dumb fuckery, and so on. The people that work for the darkness and for the light and so on. And this is how. Okay, this is how you're gonna see that. And so, when it comes to exchange of energy, whether it's sexually or not, that is a relation. And that is where the karmas and dharmas, okay, what needs to be corrected, okay, if it needs to be corrected, it needs to be tended to. And what is a part of the dharma of the person, you might be tending to that as well. Okay, for example, I bought a talisman of Thema Mundi. Okay, I would get Opus Dei, the teachings of the Masons, all the way to the 33rd degree. They learned that not all people can be free. Okay. I learned later about satanic ritual abuse and the rites and the monasteries and the real estate and everything. So it's a part of the karma. The part of the dharma is, okay, if a woman did Demamundi, part of the dharma is to protect that. Okay. So it's not an inversion of a fertility talisman, of the actual fertility talisman. Yes, a part of the karma is, of course, is something going on. Something going on in the business, something going on in this, something going on in that, something going on. It's affected, okay, it's the nervous system. So we all defend that. And a part of the dharma was to expose that the single white women were single white men, and I even have had 2 names of these men. Okay, so this is how these things work. Okay, I would see talisman, and I would see the incantation that was put into the talisman. Not always, but yeah. I remember when Caitlin was protecting her business, she was like, credit. I was like, what credit? Credit. And then something told me to put the picture on, and then to take the picture down, and I was like, credit. And I was like, what, with the photos, with the this? But why you tell me to put the photo and then to take back the photo? And at that time, I was working on my own credit score. So it was very interesting. It was just, Caitlin was protecting the credit for her work. I guess somebody was trying to steal photos. I don't know. But I deleted the photos from my phone and then put the photos on my phone. I was like, I didn't understand what exactly was going on. But that was very interesting. So this is a part of how these things work. Okay, it's a nervous system. So that is both the level of how calming it is to you can be the level, or to the which extent you were using your energy consciously into malefic things. That can be a bit more alarming to you because that's going to be exposed. But if your energy was harvested to malefic things, then curating your energy is also curating for the karma and dharma of these things. Okay, so whatever that Edo guy did would no longer harvest my energy or shape shift into I don't know what to get my energy. And if he try to do something with that, like the phrase, maybe it was into Peter, I don't know. Go figure. But that would be exposed. Okay, if any part of my energy was to be harvested for that, then that would be exposed. Or for crimes against humanity, then that would be exposed. But just me saying, tending to willing consent. It is so. And willing consent is also on a level of energy, okay? Tending to where my energy is going. So this is continuing on setting our intention around that. And this is a lot to do with the karma and dharma. Okay? It's like, hey, let me give you another example. Let's say some woman wanted to exchange paths with me so that she can be loved. Okay, fine. Now she has love and has partner, and she's radiant. So I just see radiant couple. Okay, so it's like, okay, it's not going to take away from my ability to be loved or anything like that, because I'm going to curate my energy, and she's not going to suffer for that because now she has the experience of being loved. So Okay, so she was like, it's not wanting anything malefic, it's just like she didn't know how to go about it. Maybe she's in a weird satanic cult, so she thought she has to exchange paths with someone who just wanted access to love. So now she's loved, great, lovely, and she's radiant and looking more calm and at ease, and it's fantastic. And I can go back to my own sexual energy, please. Okay, you will have the love. Okay, you will still be loved because you are loved. Okay, and that's kind of like, okay, it's a very childish thing to do, but it's like it wasn't like they were exposed to anything different. They just wanted to be loved. That's all. So that's one thing. Whereas if another person was trying to destroy humanity with that, then I'm afraid no, that with my energy, that's not going to. No, it's not. No. So again, there's nothing wrong with wanting to be successful, with wanting to be this, with wanting to be that. But a free man is not oppress another. And usual exchange is like, it's more like friendship, I guess, than like anything else, even on a sexual level. It's like, hey, you glow, then you glow, then I glow, then you, and then we move, okay, we move energy around, and then we glow, and then the people around us glow, and that's just lovely. But yeah, you want to make sure that if you're successful, you're putting it back to your relationships. You're not neglecting, okay, your partner, your spouse, or people around you, especially if you are in one of these jump starts where you went from 0 to 100, then you just want to make sure that you celebrate with the ones who help you get there and so on. But it's also for the ones who help you get there that I can tell of a lot of mistakes that Ido did, that he would have gotten dividends if he didn't do these mistakes, like rape me. Like if he didn't work double agent, he would have gotten so many dividends, so much wealth, and so much credit. Okay, same for Itamar. Seeking to write a book from the perspective of a patient of what actually happens in the therapy room and how do we heal. And that was supposed to be a joint project with him, because usually you get the therapist, the psychologist, harvesting on the patients, writing books. And I said, no, but let's do something that I write from my perspective, you can write from your perspective as a therapist, and we see what actually happened. We talk about all the things that happened. It's like, how to actually heal from sexual boundary violation. That was my idea. mkultra had another idea. And then he was trying to harvest, okay, from my sexual energy to do creative things. But if those creative things were malefic, then, but that's the end result. Of course, it's not the fault that they were tortured, but you see how the karma and dharma work in that respect. And you see, when things come about, when they come to be exposed, they come to be exposed. It's like it's just so. Okay. There's gonna come a time where that is exposed. And we talk about cycles of 7 years, of 14 years, of 28 years even. I remember at the time where I was wondering, were I too harsh on Ido Nevo? Apparently I was not, because there was human trafficking involved there and espionage. Was I too harsh on a Chris Red? Apparently no, because I had to release myself from mkultra programming, which I didn't even know what it was, and it was some dumb fuckery called that could get me killed. It could get me raped and murdered, very simply put. It's not blaming, but it's understanding that that's the mkultra, that's the dumb fuckery. He wanted to be a successful musician, he had to sacrifice people. is also if you try to sacrifice people, it has a karma and dharma. Okay? Again, but now you have to tend to the mkultra and you have to do it on time. Because I can curate myself and say, well, I do will and consent. But this is, I can only care for my energy, right? I can deliver the message, but this is important. What is done with the message, how is message received, and what is done, yes, is, that's the thing. These things, they backfire. When people try to sacrifice people, it backfires. And it backfires very malefically. Okay, so you would get all the wealth and then it'd be confiscated. Think about Switzerland. Okay, Switzerland said, what money? And that's something to keep in mind when we talk about the karma and dharma. Okay, to maintain the awareness of the intricacies, yes, but to also keep in mind that if somebody thought that, oh, I would sacrifice this person, then I will be rich. I will sacrifice that person, then I will be rich. The other way around. You should have left them alive. And okay. And so you see, it's very simple. If I get tired and I can't take care of my garden, both of us are depleted. So I build a half moon and wait for the rain. So it will be easier for all of us. But this is also about the karma and dharma. Okay, but when you correct that, this is the important thing to say. When you correct that, then you can retrieve, okay, your good wealth, your success, your creative abilities, and live, okay, a better life. Yes. That is important. Because people just try to tend to their life and to be successful and to deal with their fears and to this and to do the shadow work and to do the this, to do the that. Eventually you ask yourself, okay, was I being too hard on these people that attacked me? And the answer is no. I needed to escape and deprogram and set a firewall of protection. But I didn't have firewall of protection as a talisman that a colleague made, and I made that with a firewall, sometimes of emails, sometimes of energy, sometimes of messages. I had whatever firewall I had, I used to protect myself from the dumb fuckery. This is called satanic ritual abuse and sacrifice of people and of women to make a better music or to make a better career or to make a better business. And whatever firewall of protection I had, I used. Okay? So was I being too hard on these people? No, I had to protect myself. Because if people succeed by sacrificing others, then it has a karma. Okay? And if somebody was doing things in the hidden form, try to make it, okay, and then to put it on single weight women or to put it here or to put it there, then for those people whose energy was harvested, they're going to curate themselves somehow. and all the dumbfuckery exposed is just tarot cards falling. Okay, it's 9/11 on human trade. So should it be? This is why we say sender known and unknown. Now, if it's a person like Itamar, I want to tell you, you're not safe here, not safe anywhere, and started to attack me, then it's known. If it's a person like Edon Avot that tries to introduce me to the freeze, and I get for these things, then this is known. Yeah, if it's a person like a teacher, or aromatherapy teacher that Shani told me, it's okay, pretty much something that would say put yourself in jail, then it's known. Now, if it's mkultra running the muck of all of that, then it's tended to. If there's a habit in the call to run a line of lovers and to harvest their energy, then there's going to be a firewall of protection, okay? And whatever spouses are going to know. They're going to know. They're going to figure that out. And that is a question of how do you correct your ways and return to your creative energy, okay? Because and then there are the things that are actually benefic, okay? And this is also with how you treat things. And that is a curation of betrayal. So that pertains to the karma and dharma. And it's something you want to remember, okay? If you're the type of person that walks around and, you know, does these cult practices of trying to harvest energy from people, and that you know you're doing that because, like, I'm going to have a line of lovers, okay, you're going to have a line of lovers that put a firewall of protection, and then we'll see what happens, okay? If there's also attempts to harvest on them, like financially, that's already human trafficking. Okay, there's a thing to that. Okay, no notion of respect. If you're a trafficker, no notion of respect. Okay, it's not sugaring. It's human trafficking. You see, if you grew up in a cult that created imbalance on purpose between women and men, or men and men, because boys are trafficked too, right? You look at Dubai is... Then you try to equate something or to create a balance, You understand that it's all from the get-go, because the situation is not your... You need to bring balance into the situation, and when you harvest on that, you're not balancing the gender inequity by trafficking people. That's the thing. Because they do brainwashing for these people all across the board. You see, there are cases where a man takes care of the home, and a woman goes to work and has a career. It's no problem. There are cases like this. The stay-at-home husband. Okay, just when before the trad wife, okay, trend, there was a stay-at-home husband. Now, I think that people should have their separate wealth that is suffice, because first of all, you never know what happens, but everybody decides to live their own lifestyle. That's different. But when you're human trafficker, you're human trafficker. It's not her respect, it's your human trafficking. That is also sexpionage. That is also a molex. So that's what in the Netherlands they call lover boy. And anybody who's involved with that or tries to play a role with that, you're not playing a role, you're trafficking people. You're attempting to get people financially dependent on you so you can traffic them. It's not about respect. It is about respect. It's about your respect, but respect is a process. You need to tend why do you do these things, because of course you're going to get politically assassinated very easily if you do that, and that pertains to all people who try to be successful in that way, whether they're Puff Daddy or Beyonce or for other people. Now there's a woman that accuses Jay-Z of 2,000 sexual assaults. That means she was trafficked. Okay, and Jaguar Wright also was assaulted by Jay-Z. Okay, she's openly talking about that. So you see that accumulates to something. That accumulates, that all the wealth you accumulated is now confiscated. So this is something very important to keep in mind. What do you mingle with? Okay. And look deep into yourself. Why do you mingle with that? Why do you mingle with that? If you mingle with that, you try to expose something, you try to get into the dream, try to get into somebody, even if the self-pleasure themselves, then they're gonna know. Even though they're just gonna curate themselves, and then they're gonna know. You see, times are changing. And if you think the Me Too went too far, then imagine Beta Persei Uranus when Pluto is in Aquarius. The depopulation they want to make is of the lodges first. But on a nicer note, when you begin to tend to these things and you begin to correct for these things, then you're liberating yourself. That's because people can only wake up a couple of nights, having to wake up every couple of hours to negate this magic, that magic, that magic, that magic, that magic, that. Okay, before all across the board another action comes in. It's like, okay, we can do something a bit bigger about that topic. Now, if this is a part of the mkultra plan, then you want to begin to tend to negate that, because you're going to be the victim of that, whether you're Tachi or Delano or Peter. Okay, any one of this triad was a victim of that. If it's Delano, which was programmed and didn't know if it's srak, not srak, if it's real or not real until he shot. Very likely that's how it happened. Versus Tachid, the family he was watching for. Versus Peter. Okay? There's just the call to rescue someone, to assist someone. And that assisted would be a betrayal. So all of these roundabouts, they go back to the fact that when a person, man or woman, is a victim of sexual assault, there's no juristic representation of them that is fair and just. There's no conditions or living conditions for them independent of their ability to work, because they tried to recruit them to sexpionage. That's why they were raped in entire Netherlands. Why? Because mkultra. So we can't prevent political assassination without tending to that. So, and this is very interlinked with the karma of dharma, of having all these sexual relations that are not. It's both for people to be aware that damn fucker is going on, and to tend to our self-pleasure, to our and this is where the self-respect is simply a process, because it's a process of discernment. It's not because you don't have respect. Sometimes it's really discernment, and when a person is tortured, then to go back and to curate that and to deprogram, which is a process again. And that ties with fertility. If people want to bring children or decide not to, or I don't know. That's the karma and dharma of these things. So it's about awareness that, hey, there's way more to sex than we figured. And the fact that you can tend to that. So I always like to end on an optimistic note, not just a purgatory note or a punitive note, but to simply say, when you begin to tend to that, then all of the tools assemble for you to be able to tend to that. So for example, when I tried to tend to the fact that there was something that I didn't understand, it was mind controlling me, the people who understood me only now connect the dots, because that was mind control. It happened in 2007. The people who connected the dots were the veterans that says that I describe of what they feel, and that is when you understand something was not okay, then you have trauma, and when and you need to take action to change that is the way to create trauma. And those were veterans, of course, knew what mkultra is, so they understood me. And I felt it from some musician that wanted to do some music and maybe had to sacrifice people. And I asked myself time and time again, was I being too harsh on him? While suffering things that were analogous to incest. On a psychological level, including the desire to end my life, yes. I said it with zero blame or shame or anything. It's a situation that we all need to untangle from. And it affects our housing. It affects our relationships. It affects fertility. And he was ideated of women's fertility. Who knows what people would they murder in these rituals? Maybe he was dissociated, maybe many things. Many things. But the positive note is that when you tend to that, just when I thought, hey, there was no psychologist, no psychiatrist, there was no one, it's true, still no one. But there were veterans who tell me you describe, for the I wrote the poetry, they told me you describe exactly for the way I feel. And even the poetry had to do with the plane, with an aeronautics something. And so and they told me, I feel for the same as you. Apparently we were both going through mkultra. Okay, die Basser van de Kolk. That's the greatest tip I have to give you. The body keeps the score is not a name to heal trauma. Yes, your body has a cellular memory, but you understand the phrasing here itself is mkultra. It's meant to traumatize you rather than to curate you. And then they tell you to encourage you to go rape women. That being said, when you do tend to that, the actual help will come. Okay, for the actual veterans that were dealing with, only now as I say it, I connect the dots that these veterans felt related to my text because they were also going through MK Ultra, and I was going through MK Ultra back then in 2007 for that musician that wanted to make some nice music and sell his records, a very talented musician. But what he had to do and how he was programmed, was he picked by blood type? I don't know. And there was no one to go through the entire system, no one, absolutely no one to go to, and only targeting along the way that I didn't even understand. Because that was MK Ultra. And I learned it was from the Cold War veterans, way before, but they're still going on, of course. How did I not even consider the fact that Delano was MK Ultra job? It's a form of dissociation, I guess, because I was looking at the work of the police, because that's what I ran into. That's, of course, with the MK Ultra. It's all of that. But nobody could say that. Peter couldn't say that in so many words. I mean, he had to program who knows what, right? That's a part of what they have to do there. But then when you even set your intention, you know you can manifest to so many things. So when you even set your intention to untangle the damn fuckery, then help does arrive. You're going to be a lot of forces to try to do it otherwise, but help does arrive.